Hey, good morning. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Got my cup of coffee. That's one reason we call it Coffee with PC, our weekly check-in where we get a few minutes together to do what we've been doing over the last several months, I think, and that is trying to take kind of that 10,000 feet view of the story of the scriptures. And we're going to fast forward to the end of the Torah, to the end of the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible, the law, as it's called in various places, the book of Deuteronomy. The word Deuteronomy, the book name itself, means second law. And really what Deuteronomy is in many ways Moses' kind of last hurrah with the people of Israel, with the children of Israel, just before they enter the promised land. He's not going to make it. He will not be allowed to go into the promised land because of an incident with the water that he took too much credit for himself instead of giving it to God. So he is prohibited from going in. And so he is summing up the law that God has revealed to his people Israel from Mount Sinai. Hence that would be the second law. In fact, there's the 10 Commandments in Deuteronomy. Again, a reiteration of that very idea. And we're to the very end. We're kind of on his last speech to the children of Israel. This is what he's saying right before he goes at the end of the book to die. Joshua takes over as appointed the next leader. And in chapter 30, the verse we're going to look at today, this is what Moses says to the children of Israel. He says, I call heaven and earth as witnesses against you today, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life so that you and your descendants may live. Love the Lord your God, listen to his voice, and hold fast to him. In Deuteronomy 30, verses 19 and the first part of 20, that is how Moses sums up all that's happened, including the giving of law. It's an interesting way to do it because when you think about it, Israel has experienced a lot. I mean, we're here at the end of Deuteronomy, which means for about 40 years they've been wandering through the wilderness. That was the punishment for them refusing to go into the promised land. We looked at that last week, that Numbers passage about we looked like grasshoppers in their eyes, and so we felt the same way ourselves. They voted 10-2 to not go into the promised land, and as part of the punishment, we might say, they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. That generation had to die off before the next generation would go in. And so that's another reason why Deuteronomy is the second law, or the re-giving of the law to this new generation, that they would remember who God is and what he had done for them as they begin to go in and settle the promised land. And this here is really a reminder because these people of Israel had seen both ends. They had seen the blessings of God, and we've looked at some of them. They had seen the provision of God, even miraculously for them, like the manna that would appear every morning, just the daily provision, like the quail that came, like the water from the rock. All of these instances in their journeys where God had provided for their needs miraculously. He had delivered them miraculously, whether it goes back to the Passover, the final plague that was the last straw before Pharaoh let them go, whether it was crossing the Red Sea on dry land, all of the things, that and more. The fact that God led them by a pillar of fire by day and a pillar of fire by night, a pillar of cloud by day, that God's presence was with them, that they built the tabernacle, that they put it up and tore it down everywhere they went, following the presence of God as he would lift his presence up and lead them. All of this is their history of God's great provision. But scattered throughout that same history are times where Israel had turned their backs on God. Certainly the earliest and one of the biggest is the building or the creating of the golden calf. Even while Moses is up on the mountain, the presence of God is on Mount Sinai. They build another god and say, this is who led you out of Egypt. And time and again we find out even Moses himself isn't able to go into the promised land because he had been disobedient. And as Moses thinks about all that he said and all that God has done, he sums it up in this way, that God has set before you a choice, life or death, blessing or curse. And that idea of blessing or curse will be very important because in Deuteronomy 28, just a couple of chapters before, it is a whole chapter where the first part, the first little bit, he says, these are the blessings for obedience. And then a much longer section, and he says, these are the curses for disobedience. So when he says blessing and curse, it means pretty literally. And one of the things they'll do in the promised land is on one mountain, they'll have someone read the blessings. On another mountain, they'll have someone read the curses. So this idea of blessing and curse will be vitally important. But I want you to notice something else that Moses says, and this is maybe the most important of all, because he says, choose life, choose the good, which is not hard, choose blessing, don't choose curses, choose life, don't choose death, so that you may love the Lord your God, listen to his voice, and hold fast to him. The idea here is Moses is inviting the people to follow God, to live in light of who God is and what he has done. What is at issue here isn't, hey, here's the rules and you better keep them. And if you don't keep them, God is going to punish you. God's going to get his ruler out and smack you across the knuckles or worse. No, this is a God who has said, I want to be among you. Build me a tabernacle. I will be right here with you. And you can trust me. And I will guide you as I've guided you for 40 years. And I will provide for you as I've provided for you for 40 years. And I will deliver you as I've delivered you for 40 years. And I invite you to love me, to listen to my voice, to hold fast to me. These verses, this verse, these images are images of relationship, not just cold obedience, but devoted relationship to a God who has redeemed for himself a people. One of the most interesting points, and we didn't really talk about the Ten Commandments in Exodus 20, but one of the ways that's important to note is the Ten Commandments begins with, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt. And then are the commandments. God's commandments aren't from an outsider looking in. It's from a God who has been intimately involved with his people, delivering them miraculously from slavery. And he says, as part of what I have done for you, I ask you to live in relationship with me. And this is what that kind of living in relationship would look like. And as you live in relationship with me, you will experience blessing. You will experience life, continued provision, continued deliverance. It is a pretty attractive offer. It's not, I'm a mean God who wants to smite you. It is, I am a loving God who rescued you and wants to live in relationship with you. Jesus kind of picks up that same theme when he says in John 10, he says, I have come that you might have life and have it to the full. The idea that Jesus communicates to his disciples there in that passage is he desires for them to have blessing, to have life, to have the fullness of all that is life. And the way that happens is through relationship with God, through Jesus Christ. That's why he came. He didn't come as this idea that God is the tyrant in the heavens who demands obedience from his lowly subjects, and if we don't get it, he'll punish us. No, it is a God who loves us, who has entered into our story, into our history, as he did in Egypt, where he entered into the story of the Israelites to rescue them, as he did in Jesus, where he entered into the history of humanity to rescue us by the death and resurrection of Jesus. And because of him entering into the story that you and I live out every way, being tempted in every way as we are, suffering, dying, and rising again, the possibility is that we can have relationship with God, that we can have life and life abundant. Really, it's the same kind of life that Moses was talking about. It's the same kind of life because it's rooted in relationship with God. Our greatest choice in life will be between trusting God and going our own way. Between believing that as he revealed himself to us, as he did for Israel at Mount Sinai, as he has through this book, the Bible that we're taking this look at, that as he has revealed himself for us, to listen, to follow, to live in relationship with him will be for our greatest good, will be for the truly abundant life that he offers. And we can choose that, or we can choose our own way. And the sad thing is, it's easy to convince ourselves that God doesn't have our best in mind. Because sometimes, and people present it this way, that when God gives you this revelation of himself, really he's just trying to limit the things that you can do. When instead God knows what life really is, and he's opening the way for us to experience it to the full. I've used this illustration, I borrowed it from Experiencing God by Henry Blackaby, a Bible study he wrote years ago. One of those things in my life that I still recall and still is meaningful to me. And he uses the illustration of if you were to leave your home one morning and at the front door you were presented with this choice. Somebody told you that they had seeded your entire property and an acre around it with mines. And here was a map to where every mine was planted. How many of us would say, please give me that map? Well, we would want the map, right? Because the map is the blueprint that tells us where the dangers are so we could avoid the danger of the mine and make it safely through life. I believe that's what God has done by revealing himself to us. That's what he did through the law for Israel and what he does ultimately through Jesus for us, saying, here is the roadmap to the landmines of life. Trust me and you'll choose blessing in life. But some people look and go, we would find it foolish if somebody handed you that map and you would say, listen, you can't tell me where to walk. I'm going to walk wherever I want to. If I want to step there, I'm going to step there. If I want to step there, So don't you dare tell me where or where not I can walk. And a lot of people view God that way, that he is telling us how we can live as some dictator instead of helping us understand that there's a roadmap to an abundant life, a blessed life, a life in relationship with him. And in many ways, that is what God's revelation of himself is, whether it was on Mount Sinai or to us through Jesus, is the map of the booby traps, of the landmines that we can encounter. And we either choose to see that map as valuable and help us live life that is truly life, or we reject it and face all of the potential pitfalls that await us. I think, and I've learned in my life of following Jesus, that what he desires for me is good. Yes, we could look at other places, and we'll get there eventually, where Jesus says you have to deny yourself and take up your cross and follow him. And that doesn't sound so great. Or where Jesus says to be great, you have to be a servant. And that might not sound so great. But ultimately, I have found in my life that following the way of Jesus, the one who says, I've come that you may have life, the one that through Moses said, choose life, choose blessing, has in fact brought great benefit. That's what we explore when we get together. When we get together on Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock for our worship service and our Bible studies that meet through these times, on Wednesdays, Coffee with PC, all of it is about understanding and learning together what it means to put into practice the ways that God has revealed to us through his word, what it means to follow Jesus. And yes, finding some encouragement along the way, because it's not always easy. And so we invite you to join us. You want to learn more about who Jesus is, what he said, and what it means to follow him? When we get together, that's what we're going to talk about, how we can follow him better, how we can experience this abundant life that Jesus promises. So join us. Like I said, Sundays, 9 o'clock, we'll be here. I missed this last Sunday. We were out of town, but back in the Minor Prophets this Sunday. Love to have you with us. We have it online, but I think there's something special about being in the room together with other people, singing, worshiping, opening the Bible, and studying together. So I'd love to see you this Sunday. Thanks for spending these few minutes with me. I'm going to let you get back to your day. I'm going to get back to mine, finish my cup of coffee, and do all the other things on my agenda. Hope you have a great Wednesday, and hope to see you in worship with us real soon.